Is it time? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. I will now call to order a regular school board meeting of Independent School District 544. And to begin, we will have the clerk establish our quorum.
Kirby Anderson.
Here.
Kelly Graff.
Here.
Jenny Christensen.
Present.
Missy Hermes, present. Melanie Cole.
Present.
Stephen Bigasa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. The next item of the agenda is to look for a motion to approve the agenda. Someone make that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda is approved. Under our usual item of resolutions on acknowledgements, we have none. And so we'll go right to reports and presentations, beginning with Nancy Reard, our Director of Special Ed. Good evening, Nancy. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. The year's flying by, so really excited to come and share some updates. This time of year is a time when we really pull data together and look at how things are going, the students we're serving, and then looking ahead to the remainder of this year, summer, and start planning even for next year. And so our December 1 child count is an annual mandated child count that we do through our Mars data. Leslie Schaefer is a rock star, gets that all submitted for us. And these are our children in our district that are residents of our school district. And the December 1 child count, we had 561 students that reside within the Fergus Falls Public Schools. And those are the breakdown. You can see the majority of our students are first grade through 12th. And those aren't necessarily the numbers that we serve. So the next slide shows the number of students that we do serve in the school district. Leslie also pulls all this data together based on our information from child count, but also through SPED forms, our data recording program. And so you can see we actually serve in our district 659 students with disabilities. Again, the majority grades 6 through 12. And it's just interesting to me. I like to look at data, do some comparison with data, and our child count of the number of students that reside versus the number of students we serve. This does include the students at the IQ Academy, so it's just some interesting, all of our birth to 2 students, our residents, we're serving, and that's very, very common. And then as they move up through the district, the data just is divided, a few less than 3 to 5. Super interesting, 247 for school district serving and child count. Not actually that we're serving all of our students that reside in the district. Some of those are IQ Academy students. It was just a coincidence that those numbers are the same. About 100 more students in middle school and high school that we serve district-wide, including the IQ. And then you can see the 18 to 22-year-olds. Those would be district residents, and then some additional. We don't serve 18 to 22-year-olds at IQ. So those are actually students in our brick and mortar. We're really working hard on preparing our ESY program for this next summer, looking ahead to serving students 6 days in June and 9 days in July. We serve them Tuesday through Thursday mornings. Staff come from 8 to noon, students 8:30 to 11:30, a variety of different needs, a variety of times, just really focusing on students that need those services. This year right now we have approximately, and I'm saying that because we have lots of IEP meetings still coming up, lots of planning still happening, but birth through 12, right now we're at about 50 students for ESY, a little higher than last year, so I do predict a little more flux in that and potentially going down a little bit. I do have the data in here for birth through 3. That isn't actually ESY services. Those are summer services. Birth to 3-year-olds receive service year-round. How do students qualify for ESY? There's 3 very specific ways that they can qualify for ESY summer service programming. One is through regression and recoupment. So when students over breaks in programming, Christmas break, long weekends, it's really obvious when students regress in their skills, and then it takes them longer to recoup those skills back than just a few days. And so that's one area they can qualify. Another is through self-sufficiency. So our students that struggle with functional skills, daily living skills, feeding, using the bathroom, some of those kinds of skills, but also functional communication, they also can qualify. And then there's a very small slice of students that can qualify under unique need. And that's really a team decision based on potentially behavior, or they just started in the district and we've seen a huge escalation in growth, and we just feel like, oh, this is a really unique time for that student. And so they can also qualify for summer ESY through a unique need, which is a little more of a team decision. Another thing that was interesting, and I did share this at the DAC-RAC meeting the other night too, was something that I hadn't gathered data on before, but our AAC device use. AAC devices are augmentative and alternative communication devices used by students with expressive language disabilities. Super interesting. We have 34 students in our district that use some type of device or communication system to enhance and sometimes replace their verbal communication. So the devices are super individualized. And I just have to give a shout out to our speech pathologists. They really lead this for our district. It's really grown significantly and been super impactful for our kids. You can see that 15 of them are at Lincoln School right now. So that would be preschool through grade 1. Kind of a unique group of kiddos in that group right now, with 15 augmentative communication device students. So kind of gives you an idea. Students that can't express themselves need a tool, and I'm going to get into it a little bit about them just because it's interesting. But Jenny Swanson, Rachel Ryan, Emma Koza, Shelby Sowers, Sydney Honig, and Emily Bellamy at IQ is also doing several AAC devices with the kids at IQ. I think it's really being impactful with our kids. There's 3 different levels of AAC devices. There's low tech, mid tech, and high tech. Low tech are more like picture exchange systems, communication boards, and communication books. That's usually a first step where students start getting exposed to pictures, images to help them communicate. They're easily made by our staff with special programs and develop these pictures and boards for students. It's low tech, but wow, I've seen it be really beneficial to students to help them start with some communication. The next step is to just have some single output devices. We have these in every building for sure, where students just hit a single switch. Sometimes they tell a joke. Sometimes they're communicating yes, no. The green go talk on the left. We have several of those being used in the district for students who are just initially saying yes, no. Some of those basic wants and needs getting met with that device has been super beneficial. It helps us decrease behavior while really engaging the kids in communication, which is key. Now, if you want to have some fun, come and observe some of our students on the high-tech devices. These dynamic display individual devices somewhat look like an iPad, but they are individual devices where students can actually sequence sentences. Students that are completely nonverbal, we have seen up at the high school now expressing complete sentences, being able to communicate with their peers, with the staff. And so those have been really exciting additions up at the high school. Sydney Honig has really been leading the way. A second-year speech pathologist with us. It's just phenomenal and doing a great job getting those kids engaged. It's really exciting. And then just last month we had, and I always want to give a shout out to our paraprofessionals. Last month was our paraprofessional recognition week. I really appreciate those that stay for a long time. Their experience and expertise, their leadership to our teams is so important. And so those with 10 years or more more service. Carrie Leach at 31, Dawn Schlesky at 20, Alicia Paulzine 14, Carrie Gullickson 13, Gail Rockel 12, and Kaylee Vesper at 10. And those are spread out throughout our district, which is also super cool. We have somebody at Lincoln, somebody at Cleveland, Adams, really almost every building. So they just do a really great job. So I'm brief, but any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Our next presenter will be Berkeley Pujari and she is our American Indian liaison. So welcome, first ever school board meeting for Berkeley.
Yeah, geez, guys, it's a little intimidating. All right. So, as you all know, I'm the American Indian Liaison. I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of my program, what I offer for students, and then kind of some fun and upcoming things that we have.
Berkeley, can you just move the mic just a touch more? Thanks.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So the first thing that I wear many hats, but one of them is cultural needs. And so that is coordinating events for students. That could look like storytelling, that could be foods, that could be arts. We're actually doing a ribbon skirt making class this month. And here's just some more photos there. We made drums last year, so those students look awfully happy. And we had an MMIW remembrance dinner. And so just that cultural piece that students would not have otherwise. So I also support teachers, and that might look like classroom kits. These classroom kits can be checked out weekly, and it could be a puzzle, it could be kind of a game or some specific worksheets that they're maybe working on in their classrooms. Off to the side there, you will see more authentic items. I will bring those into each classroom. Many teachers have asked me to come in, and I'll talk about the drum. I'll talk about, why do we smudge? Why do we do these things? And so it's really awesome. I've looked at curriculum for teachers to make sure it's appropriate for them to be sourcing out. So one large thing that I do is tribal enrollment. So a lot of self-preservation and identity comes from tribal enrollment. And so these are just a few of the tribes within our school district that we serve. And so we have folks from Michigan, we have folks from Texas. And so it's really hard to kind of get connected to those tribes for those parents. It's intimidating. It's, who do I call? What do I say? And so it might be that I'm making that call with them. It might, however that looks. But that is a huge thing for them. So one of the other things that I do is stability needs. So we have the American Indian Pantry that started just this year. And so kind of as the SNAP struggle came about, students were finding that they didn't have food at home, or they didn't know what to do. And so these are healthy snacks. These are, maybe it's a box of macaroni and cheese that they're able to take home. And you might be saying, well, we have the Otter Closet. Why would we need the Indigenous Pantry? Well, statistically, Native Americans are more apt to use a program that's designed for them. And so it's less scary. It's like, oh, well, this is okay to do this. So that's one of the things that this program offers. Tribal support. So a good example of this is we had a gentleman who just really loved music, but he financially just could not get the tools that he needed to pursue this or to even enjoy it. And so I worked with his tribe who purchased him a laptop. And this laptop allowed him to express himself through music. And in return, he was showing up to school. And now that gentleman is on track to graduate next year, which is awesome to see. So those are and tribes are awesome with supporting with those kinds of things. So one of the things that I talk about when I go into classrooms is our medicine wheel, which can be kind of intimidating. And so the way that I present this to younger students is that there are 4 quadrants, and there is spiritual, and there is physical, mental, and emotional health. And so when I'm presenting these to students, I will say, okay, what brings you physical wellness. And they're like, well, there's sports. I like to lay in the grass. I like to, all these things. And we talk about, what if we take that piece away? Then our tool becomes unbalanced. So it's a lot of that we talk about. We also talk about our 4 sacred medicines, which all have a different meaning, and I can get into that if you want to. But yeah, and so that brings me to my next slide. So I had some art teachers and science teachers reach out to me this fall. What you're seeing up there is a photo of the back middle school space. And the other photo is of a school up in Canada, which was painted in the medicine wheel colors. The teachers, their idea was to have this as an outdoor space. Sometimes it's troubling to find things for kids to do outside, especially as they're getting older. So maybe just sit down and talk, maybe bringing some chalk out there and drawing on them. So I think it would be a good asset to our school, and we're still in the working processes of that. And of course, that would all be properly sealed, so it's not chipping and causing issues for next year. So one of the most, I think, impactful things from my program is our Native American Circle. So this meets twice a month at KSS and the ALC. And so this is for Native American students to come and just kind of, we share different things. There's a different climate or culture from KSS to ALC. So at the KSS, we might do more artwork, sand art from the Navajo region. We might do more learning about ceremonies. Where down at the ALC, we'll have maybe those deeper conversations, stereotypes, different, those harder conversations. Maybe parents are incarcerated and, things like that. So a good thing that I do is college needs. So in 2023, a law was passed where students, Indigenous students who are enrolled in a tribe, can go to any state-funded college for free with their tuition waived. And so a lot of Native Americans, that's eliminating a large barrier for them. And so then they're able to go to U of M, they're able to go to Bemidji State, these dreams that they've had that, wouldn't otherwise happen. I assist with the Minnesota Indian Scholarship. We go on 2 college tours this year. We're going to University of Morris and then Bemidji State closer to the end of the year. So parents really enjoy that part. So program goals. So my overall program goals for this and our APAC goals are community goals. So small businesses. We're getting this funding, we want to put it back into our small businesses. So the Creation Shop, it might be Outpost Smokehouse, just different food businesses that could use those funds. Awareness goals, so again, letting our non-Indigenous student know that we're here. And so we actually do the 7 grandfathers table once a month up at KSS. And we believe that it helps the overall social connection within our schools. We'll talk about respect, we'll talk about wisdom, and engaging those non-Indigenous students on, what does respect look like for you? Who do you respect? Why wouldn't you respect somebody, and just getting them their little noodle juices flowing. And so involvement goals would be out in the community. Otter Cove, the executive director of Otter Cove is an Indigenous parent. And so for the month of November, I went and did a Friendship Friday. We took a trip in December to visit the Minnesota Veterans Home, and just having our high schoolers just go and have those conversations with the elderly is really impactful for, I think, everybody all around. And then just using all tribes. We don't just stick to like the top 3. We're reaching out to Mille Lacs, we're going to Wahpeton, Sisseton, and so that all our students feel like they're seen and heard. And then self-preservation, I think that's probably the most, and we touch a lot of that with mental health, Indigenous specific folks out there who have resources for our students. So if you look at program trends, in 2023 and 2024, there was 5 events and 6 events. When myself took over, we had 18 events, and there was a 22% increase in enrollment in the program. The following year, this year is 9% increase, and that is expected to increase again next year. Just this week, I enrolled 2 students at McKinley. Their parents came in and met with them, and we signed that form, and they had no idea that there was, they had it down in Texas and didn't know that there were such things up here. I also serve pre-K through 12, and then as well as IQ Academy. That looks a little different. So in supporting IQ Academy, that might be reaching out to resources in their community. That might be just over the video conversations. Maybe it's helping parents find different kinds of worksheets for their younger students. And so, yeah. So looking ahead, just in January, we submitted a Native American Language Opportunity Grant that we will hear about in the spring, and this will be for this coming school year. We also will be partnering with Minnesota Indigenous Immersion Network. This is a nonprofit that is just making sure that our curriculum is up to par and it's not, the instructors have good proficiency. And then as well has Bemidji State for post-secondary education in the fall of 27. Yeah, that's right. And so that would help project. And this opportunity that I am currently talking about is open for 9th through 12th non-Indigenous as well. So they also get this opportunity. And then the Johnson O'Malley Grant, it supports enrolled members. I'm still kind of collecting information for that. It's can be a challenge with different barriers, but the Johnson O'Malley Grant is used by Detroit Lakes. It's used by many other surrounding schools, and what it does is it provides enrolled members with that extra support, whether that's gas to get to school, whether that's clothing, that could be medical or dental, maybe it's their glasses. And so, yeah, that's just another thing. I wanted to wrap this up with the class of 2025. So I have 5 students here who graduated last year. 1 is going into cultural studies at the U of M. I have 2 social workers, 1 who is aspiring to be a diabetic educator, and 1 who has joined the Army and is the first to graduate in her family. So, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Berkeley, for all your work with our Indigenous children. You're doing an amazing job, and we're also proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
Thank
have,
you, Berkeley.
all right. We have Doug Anderson here, our facilities supervisor, to give us an update on the facilities.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'll start on with staffing. We're still stable in all buildings. We did hire 1 substitute just to get more substitute on staff, so we have more flexibility there. I had talked about that at the previous meeting. Some of the other things I'm working on are quotes for summer. I think we had a meeting last week, so I think we kind of went over a lot of the items that we're looking at for summer projects and different things. So this next week, actually Thursday, we'll be having a building head meeting for this quarter. So I'll be going over summer projects with building heads, any issues they may have, just things that are going on in their buildings, that type of thing. Putting together orders, letting, just kind of pretty much everything that they might have questions on as we get closer to the spring here. We're trying to kind of get finished with the basketball season and all the events that go along with that. So there's a lot of stuff going on all the time. One of the bigger projects that we have starting soon is the pool project, which we visited about that. That's scheduled to start April 1st, should be finishing June 30th. We did finish up, we thought we were done with our fire marshal surveys, and he forgot to let us know that we need to go to wetlands. So he's going to be setting up one day when he's close to here. So we'll have to go on to wetlands and do a walkthrough in that building. He'll want to see sprinkler systems, that type of thing, which we really don't have any control over, but he'll want to see that and then just look at classrooms to make sure they're safe and we're doing what we should be doing in the classrooms. Other than that, all the buildings are done and complete. We're just getting reports back. I got one back for Adams today. McKinley's is back. Roosevelt and Kennedy's are all back. Most of the small items are taken care of already. We're still doing some studies on these power taps to make sure that we get the correct one when we're spending the money and stuff because they're expensive. So we just need to really make sure that we're following through with that. So I've got some phone calls that I got to make, and Ed and I are working on that. So, and dry heads in some of the sprinkler systems that are over 10 years old. So those are scheduled to be taken care of March 23rd during that week's break. So we'll get those taken care of, and we'll be on course for easily getting that corrected at that time. Should be able to. Kind of an update on Cleveland roof. We had obviously the roof needs to be replaced in the process. Had some leaks. They were here correcting those. They are working on that roof the rest of this week, but I believe they're going to be pulling off of the roof. And we had them at Adams today, so for a leak from, yeah. Anyways, but it sounds like they are going to be finished for the winter. I think they're spending too much time right now shoveling snow, shoveling ice, and trying to get things done in between that amount of time. So, which I think in the long run, obviously we want a good roof. So, probably just so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Doug, what's a power tap?
Oh, it's like right there. It's like a multi-outlet.
Yeah,
So we have a lot of those on the teacher's desk and stuff.
okay.
And we kind of talked a little bit about that, Rhonda and I. I do have Josh Cassette looking into, what's available through him or anybody else. We're looking online through like Amazon and trying to figure out what's going to be the cheapest alternative to having the towers that just don't meet spec. So
Okay.
they have to be replaced. So they have to be UL labeled and to a certain code. So
All right.
I'm trying to figure out all that documentation to make sure we got it.
Okay.
Quick question about the fire marshal at Prairie Wetlands.
Yes.
Because I know you and Ed have been going
Yep,
around with the
yep,
fire marshal.
yep.
So if there are concerns out there, is there somebody that do you guys have a contact that you can forward them to?
Well,
Will somebody
we'll
be
go
with
with
you
them
guys?
out there.
Okay, but you were just mentioning that you guys don't have full control. Obviously, we don't have full
Yeah,
control
I
over
think-
those places, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Years ago, he had a question on the fire control system.
yeah,
We got a hold of the building custodian.
awesome.
There's somebody.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure you guys had somebody that you could reach out to there if there
Yep.
were concerns.
Yep.
So, okay,
Yep, we should be able to
Thank
track
you.
somebody down. Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
Any other questions for Doug? All right, thanks for the report.
Yep.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Have a good night.
You too. Ed Shea will come in and speak as our mechanical supervisor and give us the update there. Hello, Ed.
After those first two ladies, I'm kind of boring.
Well, we still like you.
I talked about a lot of the projects that we're going to be doing, but the one I want to address today is we got the supplies for the elevator down in the Roosevelt Gym. They brought them in. I was able to get them not stored in the mezzanine. I got them tucked away in the gymnastics room where nobody can get at them. They're going to be here for about 2 weeks. The electricians and so forth, the electricians have all the dedicated circuits already run. Smoke detector moved where it needs to be moved for the upstairs elevator because it wasn't in the correct spot. And we're expecting to be done in about 2 weeks. We have one game on Thursday, so we'll just kind of work around that. But we have handicap accessibility lower level. They can walk into the doors and they can sit on the gymnasium floor. There's spots there. And if they want to sit upstairs, They'll have to come in the double doors up here behind the school, and they can go in there and have access for that as well. So I think we've got that covered. We're going to do one more elevator this year. When they get this one done or whatever, then they're going to bring in their supplies for the elevator in ALC. We're going to start that June 1. We have no handicapped students at this time, knock on wood, that are using that elevator. So that will give us a chance to get that in this fiscal year and be done and have these two schools done, the two in this school done. Kennedy's is up to code, so we don't have to worry about Kennedy's elevator. And then McKinley, we don't know about McKinley at this point, so we would have only one left. That would be at Adams, and then we'll plan that. I think it's coming in 27, 28. So that's the elevators. We kind of do a lot of boring stuff that nobody else wants to do. Clean sewer lines, fix sinks, and my guys are running all over the place, so we kind of a boring thing for unnecessary evil. The only other thing that I'm looking at that I didn't really talk about at the last meeting, and it came upon when the guys were moving the sprinkler, the smoke detector by the elevator. I had to put this system into what's the fire suppression system at Roosevelt in what's called walk test. So you go through a number of steps, you press the buttons, you try to read what it says, and it's spitting out hieroglyphics at me. I can't read it. So I'm going, oh crap, is it in walk test? Is it not in walk test? Are the alarms going to go off? Are they not? So I'm going to start putting together a budgetary item for replacing this fire alarm panel and the associated systems in this building. I have a meeting on Wednesday with Allied Fire Protection and Josh Cassette, and we're going to just kind of get a big wrap our arm around it type of a deal. It won't be an exact, but it'll be something that I can bring forth to Renee and Jeff so they can have an idea. After we get that and I get a very good quote then and we get it right, we're going to go somewhere with it, then I will bring in Summit, and I will not give them the numbers, but I will give them the quote so that they're quoting apples to apples, because it's really not fair to have one company quote this and then somebody else come in and, whoop, hey, we're going to quote something better. Well, it's not the same thing, and they got a quote and you don't got what you want. So that's kind of what I'm up to. Any questions for me?
No?
I used to be scared coming up here. I'm not anymore. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll go through our board reports and committees, and we'll begin with Kirby Anderson.
Yes, we'll start with the 544 Foundation. The foundation has not met since my last report last month, just because of the way the calendar falls. We are scheduled to meet this Thursday, February 12th at noon right here in the community ed room. The finance committee, we have had a kind of a subcommittee of the group just focusing on Lincoln Preschool, and we have met twice since our last report. We got together on the 19th of January and also on the 2nd of February. And then Melanie and I also sat in on a county commissioner work session that discussed the topic of childcare. So I think Jeff covered a lot of it in his weekly report this week, but kind of went through all the financials and looking at different options. And so that would be about all I have for the finance committee. I do want to report on one other thing. I did attend the annual philanthropy and youth meeting the last week of January up in Fargo, and we have quite a few kids. Mindy Christensen is the coordinator of that group, and I brought back a packet, so if anybody knows of any nonprofits in the area that have a project that they would like to do this summer that one of our students could do, they can get the foundation, the Berry Foundation will pay for that student's labor for I think 4 days a week. So many, I think it's 32 hours a week for the summer to get that project done. So if there's nonprofits who would like to, there's an application that they have to fill out. I have a copy of the packet here, and it's a good way for our students to have a summer job, to work on a project, to learn different skills, and for our area nonprofits to get some labor and get a project done and have it paid for by the foundation. So it's kind of a win-win-win deal. So if anybody knows of any, and anybody who's watching on TV or YouTube, if you know of a nonprofit that has a project for this summer that a student could handle, either let me know or Mindy Christensen. So we'll take questions.
Any questions for Kirby? All right, thank you. Board reports from Jenny Christensen.
So the Building and Grounds Committee met on Tuesday, February 3rd at 11:30 in the conference room, district conference room, and we discussed a variety of topics. We talked about the Kennedy security door. We are almost done with the upgrades to that where visitors will be screened or use electronic access. It's just a safety protocol. We also talked about camera systems. We are working on getting the cameras either replaced or the software to communicate with the hardware. We will be having a discussion at a board level about that in terms of having the funds approved to be able to move forward with those repairs. Also talked about Wi-Fi infrastructure. Everybody's continuing to take steps to try to improve our Wi-Fi in this building. And we also discussed a little bit about how in the future Chromebooks will be cycled differently throughout the grade levels to hopefully help our older students be able to use the Chromebooks in a efficient manner. We did talk about the fire marshal report, but Doug already discussed that, and I'm not going to beat that dead horse. Then we talked a little bit about the swimming pool. Again, Doug discussed it, starting in April and June to have the replacement. We also discussed how some tiles had to be replaced. We aren't sure if those tiles were damaged from scuba training or a kind of haphazard removing of lane lines that caused it. But there was somebody who was generous enough to get in the pool and get those tiles replaced for now. So those were fixed. We talked about the field turf. As we've mentioned several times, that is on hold. We're working with the activities committee to put together a marketing plan to try to fund the turf to be replaced. Right now, our life expectancy for safety is about another 3 years, so we have a little bit of time. Aesthetically, obviously, it probably could be replaced, but I think safety is the higher concern here. We also then talked about track resurfacing. We do not want to do that until the field is replaced, just because of all the equipment that will be rolling around on the track while they're trying to replace the turf. So you want to do the turf first before you do the track. Also talked about tennis courts. Those are going to need to be replaced eventually here. And we kind of discussed the idea of maybe including those in the marketing, our marketing plans to see if we can get people to help pay for the resurfacing / replacement of the courts. If there are any businesses out there that are, again, as Kirby said, watching on YouTube or listening, that really love tennis, that would like to help out, give us a call. We also talked about, as Ed discussed, the elevator upgrades. Talked about at Adams some recabling that needs to be done, bathroom refreshes. Also talked about some geothermal replacements that are going to need to be done for the roof at Cleveland. And then just very briefly kind of discuss some capital projects and timelines, what has been completed, what is in progress, what needs to be done. And that was our building and grounds meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long one.
All right, thank you. For my board report, I am reporting on the Region 1 board, and we had a meeting last month where we did a re-election of officers and a reorganization, then followed in with the regular business and updating about which schools are coming in to use the smart systems and the synergy program, the products that Region 1 typically sells and services. I had a little bit of a discussion about the Minnesota paid leave and the complications, some of the complications that even a small entity, Region 1 has, counting the board has 31 members, so they fall in the large employer category with a little higher deduction rate, but just talking about some of the impact of that. And then a little bit of change in staffing, anticipating retirements, and that is pretty much it. Otherwise the the director of Region 1 coordinates with other region directors. There's 7 technology regions in the state, and then they contribute to a fund to promote new products and kind of keep things moving forward. And the director talked about the initiatives they're working on there. So that's Region 1. Are there any questions on that? Okie dokie, then I'll turn to Kelly Graff, your board report for staff development and wellness.
Sure. So staff development met today. We discussed the staff development that day they had on Friday, January 23rd. A lot of the comments that came out of it were the teachers would like to see like more dyslexia and vision sessions. They want to see more trauma and special education or IEP topics. One big one was ASL. Mark brought up more sessions to the high school staff because some of it was probably directed more at the elementary level, and so he would like to see more sessions that are directed more to the high school staff. They talked about the new mileage rate of 72.5%, and that the Minnesota Music Conference has been canceled due to the chaos right now and the unsafe conditions in Minneapolis. So what they have done is there is an offer to do virtual at a 50% rate reduction, and they're going to start doing site visits with other schools and then the virtual with them, which they seem to be pretty excited about because they're going to go to Moorhead and Alec to see the different programs there. Then they also discussed compensation for the U-Fly training for 3rd graders. They want to extend this to 3rd grade because it's only a K through 2 program, but that was voted down. And the Wellness Committee does not meet till next month.
All right.
And I do have some of the teachers' responses if you guys would like to see them.
I'd like to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then that way.
Yeah, there's another session. There's 2 different there. So
Okay.
those are different and then those are different.
Oh,
So,
okay, great.
alright.
I'll hang on to those. Thanks. Any questions for Kelly? Board report from Missy Hermes on curriculum review and the policy committees.
Okay, the policy committee did not meet, but the curriculum review advisory committee met on January 19th, 2026, and our curriculum director, Amelia Lamar, called the meeting to order. And it was nice to meet the new community and student representatives on the committee. And especially since the meeting took place on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and he said everybody can be great because everybody can serve. So I just want to let those new community and student members know that we appreciate their willingness to serve on our school district committee in this way. And the reports at this meeting were given by John Steinbrenner, the Lincoln School principal, and Nancy Reard that you just heard from, and also Mark Anderson, who was reporting on the ALC and IQ Academy. And so Mr. Steinbrenner explained the many components of what he described as linked programming under one roof. Which is accurate. So Early Childhood Center that has kindergarten, 1st grade, ECFE, preschool, ECSE, and all of that was envisioned, just to give you a little history, way back in the 1990s by ECFE director Beth Octor. So her dream has come true. But his presentation really was a great segue for Nancy Reard's presentation, and I just want to again stress what she talked about, 2 different programs that are really making a fantastic difference for the students in our community. So she talked about the augmentative and alternative communications devices, and there was actually a teacher there who said that this technology is a game changer at the high school. Not only boosting student confidence, but also diminishing student behaviors. And I have had several students now already in my job come on field trips, bringing those devices, and it is amazing to see how happy and involved in a field trip too. And then the other thing that she mentioned, and she showed us pictures of, were sensory rooms in the different school buildings. And I was able to go and visit the one at the Lincoln School. And these were developed by the occupational therapy department staff and have been supported by funding from the 544 Foundation. So thank you to them again. So these rooms are a place where kids can come to regulate, a quiet space for calming, or also a place where engagement is boosted. And so both of those are fantastic examples of what has taken place since we left the special education co-op and started our own program here. And then the last person to speak was Mr. Anderson, and he said that the beginning of the year there were a lot of struggles because of dramatic changes in stride technology, and that's been a challenge for teachers, but he said a lot of credit goes to the dedicated teachers who have worked so hard at IQ Academy this year. And he gave us some enrollment numbers. And then he said that currently at the ALC, the Area Learning Center, there are 85 students with the potential for 5 additional seniors to get them on track to graduate.
All right. Any questions for Missy? Thank you, Missy. You're welcome. Stephen Biggessa?
Excuse me. The Activities Committee did not meet, but the Meet and Confer met and conferred. And the Meet and Confer Committee is representatives from all the buildings and grade levels. And it was me and Melanie and Superintendent Drake meeting with them. Meet and Confer focuses a lot on the calendar, and the staff have done some work on looking at our calendar, and the general consensus of from what we heard is they don't want to be going into June. And how do we do that? And they have looked at other districts ending much earlier than us, and really boils down to the fact that other districts do e-learning and not. But they weren't focused on e-learning. They were more focused on, okay, what can we do to shorten our school year? And one of the things that they brought up is that they looked at how many hours are spent in conferences versus other districts, and we were far above, around 30 hours, where the average is about 10 to 15 hours in conferences. And there wasn't anything other than just this kind of data dump, like this is what we found. Okay, so why are we spending more time in conferences than other districts, and should we be doing that? And the answer right now is we don't want to change anything yet, but we want to look at it, which I appreciate that they're taking a hard look at, ways that can we, find inefficiencies and be more efficient if that's the case, or if 30 hours is needed, then great. Let's see. There wasn't, they did come out with a proposed calendar, but it's a draft, and so I don't want to really share anything about that because we're not done yet. We're going to meet again and talk a little bit more about the calendar with some. I think they're going to be surveying their own buildings about thoughts on e-learning and conferences. And one of the things that I had wrongly assumed that everybody kind of hates how we have quarters and semesters and trimesters and semesters, I think. And what I found interesting is that the staff has actually kind of gotten used to it and actually kind of like the way our calendar is set up, if I'm not mistaken, is that they're getting used to, the number of hours in the day for the kids as far as how many periods and things like that. Because I assume that, it would just be nice just to have the whole district be the same, but that's not exactly the case. Anyways, am I missing anything, Melanie? I mean, you were at the meeting.
Yeah, I was at the meeting, and it was just preliminary.
Yeah.
And so we'll come back and,
It was a good conversation, though.
yeah.
I liked it.
Any conversation on starting before Labor Day?
We can next year
Right.
Mhm.
because, and so that was the proposal that Superintendent Drake
Sure.
presented was.
So,
Yeah.
it's really an unusual year. The Labor Day is as late as it can be. Christmas is on a Friday, New Year's Day is on a Friday, and Memorial Day is the last day of May.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, everything kind of lines up once in like every 7 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year's calendar should be
Yeah.
easier to
Yeah.
manage,
Okay,
so.
good.
So I just,
Alright.
yeah, I guess I just appreciate the hard look at it and that, there are some things that everybody can agree on in that committees, and it's good, so.
Steve, who chairs that committee?
Is it Val?
I think, I don't think they have an actual chair, but it's representative from, is it the grades or the buildings? I can't remember.
From the buildings.
Buildings.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah. Val Johnson had been considered chair, and then now we're just more of a conglomerate,
mhm.
so.
Yeah, I mean-
Renee directed the agenda.
Yeah, I think if we start before Labor Day, and if we don't take the full 2 weeks at Christmas, and get a couple more days in there, and with Memorial Day falling 31st, I think we should be able to squeeze it in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think just the age-old conflict reasserts itself,
Yep.
whereas board members, we see adding back days on, say, President's Day or Easter break as being prudent and making sense and keeping us out of June. The employees, as one might expect, want those preserved if they are making plans for vacations, family trips, all that kind of thing, so.
mhm.
So that's usually what it boils down to in the end.
Mhm.
But- All right, any other thoughts? Before we turn to Superintendent Drake's report. Good evening, Superintendent.
It's kind of nice to see the warmer temperatures, but then we get a leaky roof at Cleveland as a result, so. Lots of good news to share with you tonight. Last week, we celebrated our counselors with National School Counseling Week, so appreciate all the work that they do and the dedication that they have and impact that they have on our students. And then, I don't know if I've called attention to this in the past, but I should have. National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day is coming up on February 15th. And we just have enjoy a really nice relationship with our local police department. They came in as part of the staff development training days and did a complimentary ALICE training for those staff that were interested. We always appreciate that. And then we have two school resource officers as part of our agreement with the city. And so just appreciative of Detective Cedarberg and Officer Kitzman for all the work that they do to keep our students and staff supported and safe. Lots of congratulatory notes tonight. The One Act play had just had a phenomenal season. So my appreciation to the directors and certainly to a talented student body was mentioned already kind of before this meeting started. But they don't do a traditional first, second, and third at state. The top performers receive a starred performance. And so our Fergus Falls One Act Play crew received one of those very prestigious recognitions. So congratulations to them on an honor well deserved.
I should add that it's been over 30 years since our One Act has done that, has even gone to state. And I don't think they've ever won either, so it's a big deal.
Yeah. And that's a great segue, Steve, because another first is that for the first time in program history, pardon me, the Otter Girls Nordic Ski Team has claimed the title of section champions. And so they will be receiving a send-off this week. They will compete at Giants Ridge on Wednesday. And so we'll have a state send-off tomorrow and then also acknowledge the One Act Play students. So that'll be a fun event during Otter time. Nolan Field notched 2 distinctive achievements in wrestling. He achieved his 50th pin and also his 75th win, so congratulations to Nolan. And then Math Counts, that's a junior high competition event. And we have the team of Olivia Molstry, Caden Karst, Josh Eklund, and Riker Seedorf took second place and secured an opportunity to compete at state in March. So congratulations to all the mathletes, and also congratulations and appreciation to Miranda Steer, who coaches those students. And there's a photo of the second place team and then also both teams combined. Reminder that we have kindergarten registration coming up, so please see the district website for details on how to register your child for kindergarten. And then we completed a meeting this morning with Moody's, a representative from Moody's. They were in the process of evaluating our credit rating, essentially, our financial status. And so I'm very pleased to announce that we have been bumped up to a better rating. We went from a AA3 to now a AA2. And there are only three school districts in the entire state of Minnesota that have the coveted AAA rating. And you might have expected that would be Edina, Minnetonka, and Wayzata. I don't think there's any surprises there. But really, this AA2 rating speaks really highly of the fiscal management of the district. And I've pointed this out to our constituents in the past, but it is especially important to just acknowledge that the district is managed financially without the presence of an operating levy. That 70%, on average 70% of the school districts in Minnesota have an operating levy in place to generate additional revenue. So with that, I will turn it over to any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions for the superintendent? Thank you for the report.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move along with our general consent items, and for consideration and approval in this motion are the minutes from our January 26th board meeting, and then approval of bills and the treasurer's report. So I'll turn to you, Steve.
Okay, bills were nothing super remarkable. We had about we had a little over $921,000 in bills to pay. Most of it payroll, food service, and yeah, like I said, nothing super remarkable to talk about. You guys have that information in your board packet. So I recommend we pay the bills. Treasurer's report. The cash that we have right now is about 20, we're sitting on about $26 million, a little bit over $26 million. Now it is a bit high, and the reason why, part of it is the fact that we took on special ed, and we have more funding coming in for that. That will go down as the year goes on, and not much else to really say about that. So that is it for my reports.
All right, thank you, Steve. For personnel, we have a consideration of approval of a certified staff retirement for Troy Lee, math teacher, at the end of the school year. Certified staff separations include Suzanne Renke, a teacher at IQ at the end of the year, and Carrie Trupka, a teacher at the Kennedy Middle School at the end of the year. Support staff hires include Ava Jorgensen, a special ed para, Keith Myrold, there's a YRV in there, it's a little tough, sorry. Production assistant at Kennedy, which means food service production. Jennifer Pangman, dishwasher, Alyssa Fisher, special ed para. And then support staff separations, Gabe Brown, has left us as a special ed para coach. Separations include Sabrina Noon, who was head volleyball coach, and Carrie Trepka, who was head adaptive bowling coach. So those are the personnel items. And then request for approval for a creation of a new student activity account for the high school art club. That'd be grades 9 through 12. So is there a motion to approve the general consent?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion on these items? All in favor of approving the general consent items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That is approved. We have an unfinished business item. Looking for a motion to approve the fiscal year 26 seniority list for staff for the school district. The staff has reviewed it and made no changes, so it comes to us for approval. Will someone make a motion on that?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All right, under new business, we have a resolution for the 25-26 American Indian Parent Advisory Committee. Whereas the school board of or district has and this is abbreviated as IPAC, which means American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, composed of parents, guardians of American Indian children who are eligible for Indian education programs, American Indian language and cultural instructors, including indigenous games, ribbon and shirt making, drumming and dance opportunities, American Indian adults enrolled in educational programming, and American Indian representatives from the tribal communities. And whereas the board or district affords the APAC the necessary information and the opportunity to effectively express their views concerning all aspects of American Indian education and the education needs of the American Indian children enrolled in the schools and programs. And whereas the IPAC is directly involved with and advises the school board and district staff on Indian education program planning, and whereas the IPAC develops and submits recommendations to the school board and district staff pertaining to the needs of American Indian students. Therefore, be it resolved that the APAC concurs that the school board and district are compliant with Minnesota statute section 124D.78, and that the school board and the district are meeting the needs of the American Indian students. I will offer that resolution and move for its adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. And is there discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, I'll turn to the clerk for a vote.
Okay, Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. We have a resolution of acknowledgement of Sue Renke. Whereas Sue began her employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in 1994, and whereas Sue has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 27 years, and whereas Sue has been a dedicated teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by Fergus Falls School Board to thank Sue for her 27 years of service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Once again, I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
I'll second.
All right, and there's a second. Any discussion there? With no discussion, I'll turn to the clerk.
Okay. Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. Resolution on the retirement of Troy Lee. Whereas Troy began his employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in 1993, and whereas Troy has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 32 years, and whereas Troy has been a dedicated math teacher for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Troy for his 32 years of service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. Will someone offer that resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
All All right, and a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? That was Kelly, yes. Any discussion on the resolution? All right, clerk, back to you.
All right. Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. Our next item of business is a motion to approve the 2025 pay equity report for Fergus Falls Public Schools, Independent School District number 544. We had that information in our packet. Would someone offer a resolution to approve?
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
All right. Well, I guess we just need a
A motion.
Oh, just a motion. I will
Sorry.
move to approve that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Thanks to Amanda, that report sounds kind of difficult. So, all right, with no other comments or discussion, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That's approved. And now I will entertain a motion to close this meeting per Minnesota Statute 13D.05 Subdivision 3. We will stay as a school board and discuss the evaluation of the superintendent. And then, after we conclude that, we'll reopen the meeting. And then I'll make a short statement about the findings of the evaluation. And then we will adjourn the meeting. And we will not have a work session tonight. So, with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So
Or, I
moved.
mean, close the meeting. Close the meeting, sorry.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and second to close the meeting. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, the meeting is closed.